From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Thursday, October 7th. We've got a good chance of a lot of rain for your Thursday. Just a soggy day all around. We'll get to the highs in the mid-70s, and the rain chances are going to stick with us through the end of the week, so through tomorrow, with the highs in the mid-70s as well. Flash flooding in Alabama turned deadly. Local officials confirmed that a child died, and at least one other person is hurt. Here's new word from authorities looking for people near Birmingham.
We've done primary and secondary searches of all the flooded areas.
A lot of residents affected last night. We've had a lot of people that had damage to their homes, that lost their vehicles.
The child died about 60 miles north of Birmingham. Heavy rain in the state is prompting water rescues, people stranded in the rising water. The National Weather Service says that the area got between 4 and 7 inches of rain within just a few hours. Typically, the area only gets about 3 inches of rain for an entire month. And it was another violent night in Indianapolis. The newest shooting leaves a victim in critical condition. The scene was a home near 42nd and Arlington. We've been working to find out what happened and who's hurt. Less than 2 hours earlier than that, a few miles away, someone was fatally shot by a man on Caroline Avenue near 30th and Keystone. It happened just after 8 last night. Police tell us medics took the victim to the hospital, but he didn't survive. No details are out yet about the man, who the shooter may be, or what happened before the gunshots. And there's a new plan to cut down on violence, and it gets an important okay. A committee of the City County Council advanced the public safety spending called for in Mayor Joe Hogshead's budget proposal. The police union is criticizing, though, the mayor's handling of violence. FOP President Rick Snyder says leaders need to get back to basics.
I can tell you the city that has the model to follow. It's Indianapolis in the late 1990s during the Weed and Seed program. It's Indianapolis in the early 2000s that was working in collaboration with the 10-Point Coalition and was actively supporting civilians who were going into the neighborhoods and helping to stand the line shoulder to shoulder with law enforcement. It worked. Working together works.
It's a move Indy 10-Point Coalition leader Reverend Charles Harrison also supports. The full City County Council is expected to vote on the proposal during the next meeting on October 18th. And today, the teenager accused of firing a gun outside a local high school football game appeared in court. The hearing for David Tillman was set for 9:15 this morning to hear the list of charges against him. Those charges include battery with a deadly weapon, criminal recklessness, resisting law enforcement, and carrying a handgun without a license. Prosecutors say Tillman admits he fired the gun last Friday outside the game between Ben Davis and Carmel, but says it was in self-defense. The shot wounded a 16-year-old and prompted athletes and fans to rush for safety. And the mother of a University of Indianapolis football player who was shot and killed last month is upset with the investigation into his death. News 8's Demi Johnson explains what this mother wants and why police say they cannot share more.
It's been just over a month since Kobe Clopton was killed.
No one has ever reached out to me to say, hey, I'm sorry for your loss. This is what happened.
His mother, Nadia, says she feels left in the dark.
I'm not okay, and I'm still not okay because of the simple fact that I finally got a detective that does not communicate. It's been 30-some days, like I said, and I've talked to him 2 times on the telephone, 2 times. I text him all the time. I call him all the time. He returns my text when he feel like texting me.
IMPD Public Information Officer Janae Cook tells me the detective has been as responsive as he can be. She says there are active leads in this case, and sharing too much could disrupt the investigation. But Clopton says her disappointment stems from the very start. She says she asked her sister, who lives in Indianapolis, to keep her in the loop. Because Clopton lives in northwestern Indiana, she couldn't get to Kobe very quickly.
They sent my sister a photo. She had to identify him through a photo. So she had to send it to me, which was very heartbreaking, very disturbing.
Why her son was killed is something Clopton says she'll never understand.
He sang in church. He was an honor student since kindergarten. it's just unbelievable. I just really wish he would have never went down there.
But coming down here was his dream. When we talked to Kobe's friends last month after his death, one told us he just wanted to make his family proud by playing football in college.
Andy came to Indianapolis, to get away from Hammond. And he made it all the way to, his junior year. He was almost there.
And why that time was cut short is something Clopton says she won't stop working to figure out.
I'll be down there soon, like within the next week or two. I'm just going to go down there because at this point, it's getting ridiculous.
I'm Demi Johnson for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
Clopton's mom says her son sold shoes to make extra money. She says that may have had something to do with his death. Police have not shared if that's the case. And Fishers police are looking for puppy thieves. The department says someone swiped 6 puppies from a pet store. Police say someone took them from Uncle Bill's Pet Center at 141st Street and State Road 37. Investigators say the puppies may have been sold somewhere in the Indianapolis area. Fishers police are asking you to contact them if you recently purchased a puppy from an individual, a person, not a pet store or adopting from a shelter or anything like that. And some breaking news this morning. Pfizer is asking U.S. government to use the vaccine in children ages 5 to 12. As we've talked about on Daybreak and reported on Wish TV, Pfizer is the first of the vaccine makers to release study results supporting such a change. The study looked at a lower dose version. If regulators agree, shots could begin within a matter of weeks. There is a statement from Pfizer this morning saying, with new cases in children in the United States continuing to be at a high level, this submission is an important step in our ongoing effort against COVID-19. And this morning, the CDC is projecting that flu season will be severe, and health officials are strongly encouraging getting vaccinated. Franciscan Health in Indianapolis is helping by offering clinics throughout the month of October. The urgent warning from the CDC comes after seasonal flu cases reached an all-time low last year. The agency says that there were fewer cases because of mask wearing and social distancing due to the pandemic of COVID-19. Now, experts are concerned that reduced population-level immunity to the seasonal flu could place us at risk for a severe flu season this year. Flu symptoms can often be similar to those with COVID-19, which leads to additional flu and COVID-19 testing. The CDC recommends the flu shot for anyone 6 months or older, and the CDC Director, Dr. Rochelle Walensky, is stressing that you can get both vaccines at the same time.
It is safe and effective to get both vaccines at the same time. Getting vaccinated against flu and against COVID-19 is the best way that everyone can stay healthy, protecting themselves, their loved ones, and their communities.
Health officials in central Indiana are encouraging people to mount a defense as the annual flu season begins. Franciscan Health is hosting the flu drive-through locations next week. There are other locations with flu drive-through clinics also this month. The CDC suggests getting a flu vaccine by the end of October. We have all of the locations for you on wishtv.com for these clinics. And the nation's leading infectious disease doctor is talking about COVID-19 treatments. Anthony Fauci says prevention is preferable. We brought you his praise days ago for the potential of a pill to treat the virus.
It is much, much better to prevent yourself from getting infected than to having to treat an infection.
Other prevention efforts include vaccination and testing. Moderna and Johnson & Johnson have submitted data to the FDA to join Pfizer in booster approval. The White House says it's committing another $1 billion toward rapid at-home testing. Los Angeles will soon have one of the strictest vaccine mandates anywhere. The city council passed a new ordinance. It applies to restaurants, gyms, movie theaters, hair salons, city buildings, and indoor sports venues. It also requires proof of vaccination for outdoor events where at least 5,000 people attend. The rule starts November 4th. Businesses have to start posting notice of the changes by October 21st. And there's a glimmer of hope in the fight against malaria. The World Health Organization endorsed the world's first malaria vaccine. The WHO says it should be given to all children across Africa. The International Health Agency says its decision is based on research in Ghana, Kenya, and Malawi. It says researchers tracked more than 800,000 children who got the shot since 2019. It's called Mosquirix and requires 4 doses, but is also 30% effective. Still, experts estimate giving the shot to children will reduce malaria cases to fewer than 8 million per year. In other breaking news this morning, a judge ordered Texas to suspend its new abortion law. A federal judge calls the law an offensive deprivation of the constitutional rights of women. The law bars abortions after the detection of a fetal heartbeat, which is usually about 6 weeks into pregnancy. The law went into effect on September 1st. The new order is the first legal blow to the law. The state's attorney general says he will appeal the decision. The Supreme Court considered a different challenge to the law and last month allowed it to continue. At least 20 people are dead and hundreds more are hurt after an earthquake in southwestern Pakistan. Officials say the quake collapsed a coal mine and dozens of houses in the early morning. According to the U.S. Geological Survey, the quake measured at 5.9 magnitude. Pakistan's military says it's using helicopters to pull injured people out of the areas in the mountains. Police in Pittsboro, Indiana, are looking for help after reports of a possible attempted child abduction. According to police, it happened at 7 yesterday morning on the corner of Ambassador and Declaration Drives. A 9-year-old boy told police that he was waiting at a bus stop when he was approached by a man who was in a white van that had multiple dents and scratches. The boy says the man asked him if he wanted ice cream. The child says when he asked why there weren't any logos on the van, the man got out of the van, and that's when the child ran off. The man's described as heavyset with facial hair, wearing a black and white striped shirt, dark pants, and white shoes. And a permanent reminder of the life and loss of a Marine from Indiana. The Fallen Hoosier Heroes Memorial in Westfield is adding the name of Corporal Humberto Sanchez. He was a Logansport native killed in the airport bombing in Kabul, Afghanistan. The site honors service members killed after 9/11 as part of Operation Enduring Freedom. Organizers say this will be the final addition to the memorial since the mission is now complete. A ceremony is set for Saturday afternoon at 3. And relief for refugees is headed to Camp Atterbury. The Asian American Alliance says it has a trailer full of clothing for those who fled Afghanistan. We told you about this last month, how the Alliance started collecting clothing that's appropriate to the Afghanistan culture. Organizers say that the people hope the clothes bring them comfort and make them feel like their new community cares about them.
We just want them to feel that, now this is your home, you're my neighbor, and neighbors help neighbors. So I just want them to feel welcomed. And they also need to know that, there are friends whom they can count on, even if in the next phase when they start resettling.
The Asian American Alliance is still accepting donations. We have more information in the As Seen on Wish TV section of wishtv.com. Congress moves closer to dealing with the debt ceiling crisis. Democrats are signaling that they are open to the suggestion from Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell to temporarily lift the limit and head off default. It would set a new deadline for December. McConnell is standing firm on his insistence that Democrats eventually handle the issue on their own through the reconciliation process rather than the standard congressional means.
It's not clear whether the Democratic leaders have wasted 2.5 months because they simply cannot govern, or whether they are intentionally playing Russian roulette with the economy.
Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer says lawmakers may reach an agreement by this morning.
We've been negotiating all afternoon and all night, just until the recent. We're making good progress. We're not there yet.
The White House says the president still wants a long-term solution to the debt ceiling. The Treasury Secretary says the deadline for some kind of agreement is October 18th. After that, she says the government could start defaulting on its debts. And now to the Colts. Head coach Frank Reich is praising quarterback Carson Wentz ahead of Monday night's big matchup. Reich says Wentz's ball handling skills are important going into the game against the Baltimore Ravens.
I think he's just made very good decisions, been very judicious, not only throwing the ball, but the other big emphasis, from coming off of last year was, ball security in the pocket. This team that we're playing this week is really good at getting the ball out. So give Carson a lot of credit, keeping the ball secure in the pocket with two hands and then making good decisions, still taking chances at times. Scott Milanovic, the quarterback coach, has done a really good job with Carson in that regard, just drilling him, working that into his mindset in every way.
Sports website Pro Football Focus tracks every quarterback's mistakes each season. So far this year, only 3 quarterbacks have not had a throw included in that category. Tampa Bay Buccaneers Tom Brady, Seattle Seahawks Russell Wilson, and Carson Wentz. And Wish TV is hitting the road with the Horseshoe, traveling to Maryland for Monday's game. Alexis Rogers, Phil Sanchez, Anthony Calhoun, and Charlie Clifford will be live in Baltimore to cover the Colts versus the Ravens. Our team coverage starts Saturday night on Wish TV. Hot laps and big smiles from IndyCar drivers Romain Grosjean and Jimmy Johnson as they take to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway Oval for the first time. The two are racing veterans, but rookies in the Indy 500 rules, so it was the first chance for both to pass the necessary tests.
So my first day on a super speedway happened today at Indianapolis. Such an incredible place to get my first lap. Everything went pretty smoothly. The weather wasn't so easy, but we did manage to get some laps. First time as well with Andretti Autosport. Pretty big day for me wearing the new colors, but excited about it. Looking forward now to come and play with my other friends next year.
Johnson also shared a picture on social media holding a tiny little trophy that says, "I passed." He captioned the photo, Indy 500 ROP check, ROP Rookie Orientation Program. And finally, to business headlines, the national average for a gallon of gas is at the highest since 2014. U.S. gas prices surged to $3.21 per gallon this week. The current average price in the Indianapolis area is $3.26 a gallon. In some places, Americans are paying more than $5 per gallon of gas. General Motors plans to double its annual revenue to $280 billion by the end of this decade as it transitions to all-electric vehicles and diversifies its operations beyond selling cars and trucks. The two-day investor meeting, including product test drives on Thursday, is expected to provide a clear strategy to persuade investors to value the company more like a technology startup like Tesla. Kellogg is dealing with a strike at some of its plants that may impact the cereal supply. The strike impacts Rice Krispies, Raisin Bran, Fruit Loops, Corn Flakes, and Frosted Flakes. Between 1,400 and 1,500 hourly employees employed at plants in Omaha, Nebraska, Battle Creek, Michigan, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and Memphis, Tennessee went on strike, ultimately threatening production of its iconic breakfast products. Toy makers warn delays in stocking retail shelves could create a 4-month holiday hangover. Toy manufacturers are grappling with a massive bottleneck in the global transportation pipeline caused by the pandemic and worsened by the blockage of the Suez Canal in March. Power outages in China, a resin shortage, and higher labor costs have all strained the supply of goods and increased prices. MGA Entertainment, for example, had anticipated 50% sales growth this year, but now expects to grow by 18 to 20%. Levi's says new denim styles are boosting sales. Loose-fitting jeans for both men and women have been good sellers, apparently. Levi's also said it doesn't rely on any part of the world for more than 20% of its manufacturing, so it will be well supplied for the holidays. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway, online at wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling.
Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast.
The News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.